Dreams are calling like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destinations are where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea, trusting starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find ourselves again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. a guiding star when all seems lost and everything is dark. It lights our way. Love, love is golden. It shines in you and me. May our hearts always be open and like the skies between you and me. Although the winds may change and sorrow sometimes reigns, but like the stars above, our never-ending love will never fade.
It's forever and forever.
No, never.
Love, it can bring us together.
'Cause love is golden. It shines in you and me. So bright, a divine emotion, a treasure
but it looks like nothing is pointed towards me. Is there at least one camera looking at me? Okay, good. All right, welcome. Well, you know what? There are some people here this morning. Thank you for coming in. We're grateful to have your beautiful faces here. Didn't even stop to open presents yet, right? Going to do that later? Wonderful. And for the many of you who are watching from home today, maybe it's not even Christmas Day any longer and you're still checking in with us, welcome. We're so glad that you're spending this time with us at Unity in Naperville. I'm Kitty Benson, the minister. If we haven't met yet, would love to see your face here at Unity sometime. But if you're across the country somewhere, then that's okay. We love you. Grateful to have you any way that you want to share your energy with us. So welcome to this opportunity to explore Christmas from a unity perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, from a new thought perspective. That's what we're about, is just looking at the scriptures and the spiritual dimension from a new point of view. So thank you for trying this out. And I hope that if you have any questions, you can always email me at revkitty@unityinnaperville.org. And we'd like to start this morning. We had a choir like twice this size, but some of them could only sing on Christmas Eve, and some could only be here today. So thank you for being here with us, Don and Carol and Kevin. And we have a really fun song that we want to do with you, and we're actually going to ask you to chime in with us occasionally. So if there's words on the screen, sing along. And otherwise, just enjoy what we have to say to you. It's a gospel song, and we even have a gospel choir to help us out today. So I think you're going to get a little jazzy with this. As a matter of fact, if you'd like, would you stand as you're able, and let's all sing. I'm looking for Parker, and I'm looking for the switch in my microphone first. Gotcha? Ready? Nope, wrong song. Here we go. Come on in where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. Come on in where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. Sing it again. Come on in where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. Come on in where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going. Joy is here where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. Joy is here where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going. Seeking healing for your body, seeking for the healing of your soul, seeking for the light that brings wisdom. It's the truth that always makes you whole. Love is here. Love is here where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. Love is here where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. If you need more strength and more power, relief from your burden and your pain, seeking for some joy in your sorrow, peace that you will never be the same. Peace is here where the table is spread. Sing out. And the feast of the Lord is going on. Peace is here where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord is going on. It's here right now. What you need is waiting at the table. It's here right now. What you need is waiting at the table. It's here What you need is waiting at the table. It's here right now. What you need at the table, at the table, at the table, at the table. It's here. Sing that. At the table, at the table, at the table, at the table. It's here. At the table, at the table, at the table. Last time. At the table. It's here. Woo! Congratulations. You are an official gospel singer. Okay, we do want to do a little bit of Christmas caroling today, too. So I'm going to ask the band to come up. Let's sing a little bit of Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Anybody familiar with that song? These hymns have a lot of words, but we'll have them for you up here on the screen. Hark the herald
Angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, one and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mother lays his glory by, born that man no more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Will you join me in prayer, please? Loving Spirit, everywhere present, we are grateful this morning to celebrate this Christmas spirit as one that dwells in every heart, filled with love and peace and goodness, connecting us with all beings. The Christmas spirit that ties us to our loved ones, even those who seem to have passed but are still right here with us. We send them our love. We hold them in our hearts. And we share this Christmas spirit where there is only one presence. So it is. Let's open our eyes and say that truth together. Our invocation is up here on the screen. Together. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. The all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay deep in their shade. Thank you, band. Thank you, choir. Wasn't it nice to have them here this morning? So, okay, we'll come over here. I want to share part of the scripture about the Christmas story, the first Christmas, where all this came from. And this comes from the book of Luke. It's just part of the story, but I think it's a good part that we can talk about today. From chapter 2, verse 8, it says, "In that region where were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night." What a job. Can you imagine with 35 below wind chill? No, thank you. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. For see, I'm bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." I tried singing that last night, but I didn't get a great response, so we'll leave that out. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. And then there's another part of the story where wise men come from the east. It turns out that they had been watching a star, a new star that had risen, and to them it meant that a new ruler was coming on the scene. And so they wanted to go meet this newborn child. So they had started to travel quite a bit to find their way. They just followed the star. And at some point they arrived in Jerusalem and were able to meet with King Herod and ask him, "Do you know where this new ruler is?" Well, spoiler alert, now the king knows. King Herod is not happy about the potential of someone trying to take his job. And he said, "Well, you'll have to make sure, and when you find him, come back and tell me where he's located so I can come and worship him and kill him." Yeah, didn't say that part. So off the wise men went, continuing to follow the star to Bethlehem, where they found the newborn Christ child. They shared gifts with him. And then they had a dream before they left, which told them not to go back to Herod, and they took another route home. Lots going on around this manger where the child was laying, which is an interesting way for the Messiah to make his debut, is in a manger. I was asking people last night if anybody knew what a manger was, and we had a child who answered the question. It was pretty fun. So anybody know what a manger is? Anybody? I'm moving this a little bit so I can see you guys better. Christina. Oh, spoiler alert. It's the feeding trough where animals come to have their dinner. What a weird place for our Messiah to come to. And think of it as metaphysically, when we look at the scriptures, we look at them as symbols. These people, these places, these things that are going on, we look at them as symbols for aspects of our own consciousness. So up here on the screen, if we were to look at the animals and the manger and the hay, you might think of animals as our base human nature. You know, it's that part where if we did not have a spirit, we would be kind of a mess, more of a mess, let's put it that way, more of a mess than we are now. And that base human nature tends to see the world through a certain perspective, which is what we're equating with
the manger as a symbol for consciousness, but not just any consciousness. It's what we call sense consciousness, which is we perceive things through our 5 physical senses. So we only believe what we can touch and see and taste and hear and feel. I left one out, smell. And we tend to look at the material world, which is what the hay or straw represents, the material world as our source of all of our good. And we've learned through our senses that the material world doesn't always give us everything that we want, that sometimes it runs out, or sometimes it's not very fulfilling. And so this is how typically we as human beings approach life. And that, I think, is one of the symbols that we see in this story. But here we are looking at this manger at Christmas, and there's something else in the manger besides hay and straw. There's a child there, the child that we knew and know as Jesus, who would grow up and show us a different consciousness we could live from. And when you think about the people that were surrounding this manger, that came to see this Christ child, they must have had an open heart to the Spirit of God. I don't think they would have seen all the guides and the callings. You know, we think of Mary, she got her calling from the angel Gabriel. We think of Joseph, he got his calling from an angelic dream. You think of the shepherds, they got a great big calling with a whole host of angels. Think of the wise men, their calling was coming from the universe, calling them with a star. They all were drawn to this manger because their hearts were open to that inner call. Because there in the center of the manger was actually divine love. And for those who had eyes to see and ears to hear, they were drawn to that presence of divine love. There was only one character that didn't come to the manger. Who was that? Herod, the wicked king. And we equate Herod, metaphysically, as a symbol for our own ego, which always has to be in charge, which always has to dominate, which always has to get his way, her way, to resist any threat to our power. My hunch is you've heard from Herod sometime this past year. Has your ego said anything to you this year? Maybe that, watch out, they're trying to take your good from you. Watch out, there's not enough to go around. Better hold on to what you got. There's only so much. Or, you're not good enough. Don't even try to be yourself. You won't stand up, you won't measure up, you can't compete. Do those voices sound familiar? I must be in charge. Things must go my way. Everyone must be like me. That's King Herod whispering in your ear. Somebody might say, the devil made me do it. So just think of that as our ego doing what it does as a base human to protect itself, to get its needs met. It's very common for most human beings. And yet, this Christmas story, this first Christmas, is offering us an alternative. Up here on the screen, let's take a look at the next metaphysical interpretation. We've got a base human being with sense consciousness and sourcing itself from a material world, or we could be, as Jesus learned to be, the awakened one, where we are leaning into our Christ consciousness, which is the very essence of divine love. And our nourishment comes from spirit. It comes from that kingdom of heaven that is within us and all around us. It comes from divine ideas. It comes from divine qualities. Jesus, as our way shower, awakened to this truth about himself and spent his life telling us that we were also children of God, that we were his siblings, that we should do what he was doing, that we are the light of the world, that we should be perfect as our heavenly Father is perfect, and to nourish our heart with love, as he demonstrated throughout his life. So how do we make that transition from the voice of Herod, the ego in us dominating, to allowing and surrendering our heart, opening our heart, so that the Christ consciousness can pour through us and not only fill us up and guide us to our perfect purpose in life, to grow and expand and evolve and create from a heavenly point of view. You know, the song we sang today, what day is this? Come on in where the table is spread and the feast of the Lord is going on. Love is here where the table is spread. That's where we begin to know and feel what the open heart is all about. It's been said that we are made of love. We are made by love. Think of spirit as the energy of love, making expressions of itself as you and I out of love for the purpose of being loved. If we just sat and meditated and lived from the word and the idea of love for the rest of our lives, everything else would fall into place. I could quit right now. End of sermon. It's really that simple, and yet it's hard, right? Being love, living love. Maybe it would help us to first think about what love is. Think of it as the energy that fills this universe. If God is love, then everything that was created in this universe had to come from the energy of love, the spirit of love. It's everywhere. So there's no shortage. We can't run out. We don't have to worry about not having enough love for ourselves if we give it away. Think of love as everywhere present. And I read a story about a woman named Mirabai Devi who had a mystical experience with love. She said it was like a dam that burst in my heart, and the love that came forth was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. It was all-consuming and encompassing. I felt electrified. My body was tingling all over. This love was everywhere, available to everyone. Traveling through Holland, I stopped on the side of the road and looked at a field of cabbages. They were all filled with this iridescent, luminous light. My heart was bursting with love. It was everywhere, in the walls, in the trees. It was though it was coming through the sky. I saw everything was connected and radiant with this exquisite, ecstatic love. Wow. We may not get to have one of those overwhelming mystical experiences of love, but if we can spend time meditating on the divine idea of what love is, imagining it as the air that we breathe, imagining it as the power that generates life in our bodies, in our cells, and our molecules, imagine it as the essence of the universe that creates stars, that is the black space in between. It's all that is. And the more that you focus on this power of love, where you recognize you're like a fish in the ocean, and the ocean is love, but it's also you, you start to become it, and you feel free to give it away. It's what opens your heart, is focusing on that power of love. And you know, it's kind of like when you get into the Christmas season, do you notice how love comes more easily to people? It's like the topic of Christmas, the idea of what Christmas means to people, is kind of thinning that veil between the material world and the spiritual. So take advantage of this season that we're in right now to start getting your love thoughts ramped up and start to feel it until you know it for yourself, and then you start to grow it out into the world. Because this power of love is not just for us, it's actually meant to be given away. You can actually send an intention of love to others, just walking down the street. I wish you well. I wish you love. I wish you happy. You don't even have to open your mouth to do that, but just imagine it flowing out of your heart. I actually did that. I used to live in San Francisco, and I was walking to work one day right through Chinatown. And it's very narrow. Grant Street's very narrow, and there's lots and lots of shops on either side of the street and lots of foot traffic. And so I just practiced one day as I was walking to work. I just imagined this stream of love just kind of pouring out through my heart towards people, and I literally had someone turn around and look at me from in front of me. I was like, what was that? It's possible. It's possible to send love to help create healing in other people's lives. There's a story of a spiritual community in Scotland called Findhorn. Has anybody heard of that? Yes? Okay. They're a little crazy in Findhorn. One of the things they do is they send love to plants. And one day there were some people visiting, touring their rose gardens, and it turns out that one of the people in the group was a minister who had been there before. As a matter of fact, he had been asked to recommend what rose bushes to plant because he'd been raising rose bushes for like 30 years. So he made some recommendations and then he left and they went out and got the ones he recommended and planted them. Now it's a year later and he's come back to see how they're doing and they're walking through the gardens and he suddenly just stops and says, "Enough! This is completely impossible." It turns out that he would come off and on with his wife against his will because he thought these people were crazy. And he was actually like playing a little trick on them because when he was asked to recommend roses, he recommended ones that he knew could absolutely not survive in that climate. As a matter of fact, he recommended bushes that would only grow in hothouses. They didn't know. They planted them all. Then they went around sending them love, and these rose bushes were thriving. Thriving. He was totally freaked out about this. How is this possible? Well, if that's possible, us sending love to roses, what might it do for us to send love to people? People who are struggling with their base human nature. What if we practiced sending the energy of love to everyone around us to not only open up our Christ heart, but help them open up theirs? There's probably millions of ways to open up your heart, but let me just suggest for now that you take some time in the quiet every day, you take deep breaths, and you just bring your attention into your heart, because besides your physical heart, there's a spiritual heart there. It's the portal to love, and when you focus on it and you think about love, that portal opens. So just do that. Just direct your attention to your heart. And imagine that as this door opens and love starts to flow, that you can just come as you are, knowing that you are totally accepted. Imagine that for yourself. I can be myself. There's nothing I need to do or become in order to be loved. Imagine for yourself that there's no judgment here. You're just fully accepted for who you are. And recognize that with this presence and power of love working in your life, you will always have enough of every need. That's what love does. It works for your good. You're feasting on that divine love. You've pulled yourself up to the table of love, and now you're letting it sink in and become you. And once you start to feel your heart opening, I'm guessing you know what that feels like compared to a closed heart. What do you feel like when your heart is closed? Give me an example. Angry, withdrawn, fearful, tense, shut down. Yeah, and you can feel that. You know that. You know that when you're feeling that. That's a closed heart. Open heart feels like what? Gratitude, bliss, joy, ease, allowing, accepting, wonderfulness. Yes. So when you start getting to that place in your quiet time, now you can go out into the world and invite others to the table. And the way that we do that with our open heart is to listen to them more and talk less, to seek understanding of who they are, offer pardon if necessary, as we learn from St. Francis. Look at them seeking to see the beauty of their spirit, not their base human animal nature, because they're both there. And start to call out their positive qualities. What do you see in them that they may not see, that you want to just remind them of? Don't be afraid to talk to strangers, to look them in the eye, or to smile at them. That opens up anyone's heart, unless they're just completely distracted. It's important that we stop keeping score. Well, they didn't smile at me, so I'm not going to smile at them. Who cares about that? It has nothing to do with that. An open heart, sending love, is completely focused on what can I give to you to lift you up. When you regularly take nourishment from this table of divine love, you will start to express the Christ more freely. The Christ consciousness will become more dominant in your life. Let's take a look at this dinner table, Susan, and just go around the table and show us all that's being served from this table of open-heartedness. It's everything from becoming more centered and flexible and peaceful to living a longer life, because now you're healthier when you live from love. You more easily hear your divine guidance, and effective solutions come to you easily. You feel connected to the world around you, to the people around you. You're suddenly more creative and have a lot more good ideas. Your thinking is more clear. You're more generous and compassionate with others. You're more accepting and understanding. At this point, when love is flowing through you, it's also working all things together for your good. That's its job, to harmonize things, to see the good, to be the good, to work for good. And at this point, love is being served to you no matter where you go. Doesn't that sound good? Let me close with a quote from Sanea Roman. She said, "Raising your vibration comes from opening your heart. When you feel loving, you experience more aliveness, expansion, renewal. Love is flowing with the universe rather than resisting it. Love is a willingness to be vulnerable. It's accepting yourself and others just as they are. Unconditional love dissolves all separateness. As you learn to love yourself and others more, you increase your vibration. Your energy takes on the smoother, finer vibrations of the higher dimensions, and you become your higher self. Come on in where the table is spread and the feast of love is going on." Let's do a little bit of that in a meditation, shall we? I'll just invite you to close your eyes and feel comfortable with nothing to distract you. Breathe from your heart. And just hold the word love in your mind. Bring your thought to your spiritual heart, seeing it as a doorway that is opening. A divine light is shining through, and its essence is love. See this love light expanding in your heart and throughout your entire body. Feel this love energy coming alive in every cell of your body. Every cell gratefully receives that love and allows it to do its perfect work of healing and restoring. Bask in that light and love energy. And think of those nearby and far away, those you love and those you don't even know. Imagine this power, this light of love coming alive in their hearts. See them as beings of light love. send your love to the billions of hearts on this planet. Feel your desire for their good. Feel that stream of loving light connecting you to all those billions of hearts. Feel it harmonizing your relationships for good. Feel it calming and soothing all beings as they each suddenly know there is only good here. I am deeply loved. And as this web of loving light connects us around the planet, allow that energy to seep into the planet itself and send your love to Mother Earth. Feel it responding with new life and joy. And sense now this circle of a loving fire that surrounds the globe, radiating love out into the universe. From here and beyond the spiritual dimension. God is love. And so is all that is. And I am grateful. Namaste. And amen. That felt good. Merry Christmas. This is the time in our service where we share love by sharing our tithes and love offerings. It's your way of giving love to your spiritual community that hopefully is nourishing you. And we gratefully receive your love and continue to give back to you. So thank you for that. If you're watching online, we gratefully receive your love offerings. Maybe this is a time for you, if you haven't given this year and we're coming to the end of the year, it might be your time to make that last gift of 2022. You can do it either on our website at unityinnaperville.org, or you can mail a check to our P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. But before we do anything, we bless what we give. And this is right along the lines of what we just talked about in the message. So if you've spoken this before, imagine it's the first time you're ever hearing these words and really take them in. Let's say them together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come, please? And choir, will you come, please? And Parker, I'm going to switch mics again.
Everyone is welcome at this table. Everyone is seen at this table. Everybody matters. No one falls between. At this table, you can say whatever. At this table, you can speak your mind. At this table, everything's forgiven. There's enough for everyone. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you could bring is your heart. So come as you are. At this table, there will be no judgment. At this table, mercy has a seat. At this table, we're all sons and daughters. There's no place I'd rather be. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you could bring is your heart. So come as you are. Come as you are. At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everybody cares. At this table, everybody matters. So come, pull up a chair. You can have a seat. Up and down and up and down, right? Grateful. So, hey, I'm your announcer. Welcome. Let me just share a few quick things with you. First of all, if you want to stay for a potluck afterwards, if you have no place to go, nobody to be with, we're having lunch. So meet us in the classroom afterwards, and we'll have a beautiful little simple potluck and gathering and sharing time. Grateful to have you with us. Also tomorrow, Reverend Mary Beth, who's here today, is leading Monday Morning Metaphysics. Yeah, thank you. That's online. It starts at 10:30. And just so you know, everything I tell you today, I'm going to minimize the details, but you can find it all on our website at unityinnaperville.org. Look first at the event calendar for what you're looking for. If you have a January birthday, we want to sing to you next week. So if you'd like to send us your birth date and also a photo, send it to admin@unityinnaperville.org by this Thursday. Also, if you want to be part of the painting workshop, there's a sample of it out on our kitchen counter, and we need to have you register no later than December 30th for the workshop that's on January 6th. So there's a registration form, a fee of $35, and we need to hear from you by December 30th.
skipping into the new year. Also, we're starting to recycle styrofoam starting next week for 3 weeks in January, so bring that when you're coming. And hey, especially to you online viewers, you know, you're not here in the building with us on Sunday, so you can't come and hang out with us in the front room afterwards. So we've actually created a virtual back room for you. Yes, have a little back room banter. So that's going to start January 8th online. So after the service is over, just click our event calendar on that date, and there will be a Zoom link to get into. I'll be there. We'll have some other facilitators from week to week. So I hope you'll join us so we can get to know you better, give you a chance to give us feedback about the service and chat a little bit about that, and just love to meet you. Okay, so watch for that starting on January 8th. And we are bringing back our White Stone ceremony this coming year on January 15th. And again, for you online viewers, if you live out of the area, we don't want to leave you out. So we're actually making stones available to you by mail, but you just need to let us know and make a donation in order to cover the costs of the packaging, etc. So if you go to our website, there is a link on the homepage and also on the event calendar where you can sign up for one, leave your address, make a donation, and we will mail your stone to you. Watch the service on January 15th. If you miss it, it'll be recorded, and you can fill out your own white stone when it comes to you. All right, just want to remind you that we do have prayer chaplains here for those of you who are here. If you're watching online after the service and you would like prayer, you can send an email to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and someone will get back to you by 1 o'clock today. We are grateful to have you here on this Christmas day and also all throughout the year. So thank you for making Unity in Naperville a spiritual home. We love having your presence and your energy with us. And we have one last song to sing, right? Is that what we're doing next?
Yes.
Anybody know?
Joy
Okay.
to the world.
Joy to the world. So I'll bring our choir back up again. I can change mics, Sonia Parker.
Joy to the world. We can share.
It's our big wow moment to end our Christmas service. We're ready.
Joy to the world.
The Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. Joy to the world, everyone. We have a closing affirmation up here on the screen, but before we do that, can you just give great big thanks for all the people who helped make this service possible, and on Christmas Eve, our tech team, our band, our choir. Thank you for being here, you guys. You rock, and we're grateful. Okay, here's what we're going to remember this week, and hey, let's just keep it all year long, okay? Together, the love of the Christ flows freely in me. Put your hand on your heart. Let's say it again. The love of the Christ flows freely in me, and so it is. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful week, a happy new year. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. is all around. Everything is calm on Christmas Eve. There's goodwill in the air tonight. Angels sing by candlelight, their voices carried on the wind. When carol singers gather round, when I hear that festive sound, I wanna join with them and sing. They sing a merry song, and we all sing along, a festive melody that tells us Christmas time is here. See the stars tonight, they're shining bright, 'cause it's Christmas time, and it's my favorite time of year. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, give me mistletoe. Oh, it's a season to be jolly, wrapping presents, writing cards, helping decorate the tree. But there's one thing that makes it all for me. When carol singers gather round, angel voices fill the town. It's like the world is joining